Hi, this is Jody Sharabi at Astropod_cast. How's everyone doing today? It is September 25th is the day I'm taping, and tomorrow I will release this podcast on Friday the 26th, and this is for the week of September 26th to October 3rd. So, welcome to Libra season, which happened last week. I believe it was yesterday on Wednesday. I am a little bit out of it. I'm not sure if you guys are still feeling this equinox movement, the autumn equinox, and also the new moon solar eclipse that occurred on Sunday, the 21st. And then the 22nd was the equinox. We've had two new moons bookending Virgo season, and this is very important because the message of Virgo is going to be continued for the next years. So let's get this week started. On Friday, tomorrow the 26th, the Scorpio moon at 2 degrees and 43 minutes will trine Saturn at 3 p.m. and then shifts into Sagittarius at 5:37 p.m. and then trines Neptune and then opposes Uranus and sextiles Pluto. So this is very quick moving energy, and I spoke about this at the very end of my last podcast, but I just want to reiterate what Friday is about since we are here now. And so with this going on, like we've spoken about, is that every big thing that happens will be running into all the retrograded outer planets, which is what is occurring now. There's so much stuff happening that, we're looking for optimism, especially here on Friday with the Sagittarius, with the Scorpio moon. And the Scorpio moon, again, is very intense, especially with Mars and Pluto being activated yesterday on the 24th, where Mars, again, was at that square to Pluto. And that square is coming again from when Pluto was opposite of Mars. When Pluto was opposite of Mars back in November it began, and again, I believe in April. And so now we're here where it is the closing square. It already had the opening, had the opposition, now we're at the closing square. And really what's going on here is that the eclipse in Virgo, the new moon in Virgo that began the Virgo season at 0 degrees and then ended at 29 degrees, we won't get a new moon until the end of October. So this was and is a very powerful time in the universe, as we've spoken about being the end game last week. And this week, everything is accelerating very, very quickly. Although the outer planets are retrograde, with them Uranus just stationed retrograde. Uranus has a lot of power right now because it hasn't shifted back yet into Taurus. So outer planets have a lot of power no matter what, retrograde or moving forward. And right now, as they're retrograde, they're really stirring up the past, the things that have happened. And then we head into Saturday, where Virgo Venus in Virgo at 10 degrees and 7 minutes will be Sessi square, which is like a half kind of baby square, to Ares in Aries and Chiron in Aries. And it will occur tomorrow for Chiron on the 28th. And this is at 29, it's going to occur at 25 degrees and 22 minutes of Aries. So we spoke about this again. Libra season is here now. It wasn't here last week, but it's here now. So we are in a diplomatic, peaceful mood. At least most of us are in a diplomatic, peaceful mood, not all of us. And then on the 28th, Uranus in Gemini will trine Pluto at about 10 minutes of orb, according to Rick Levine. And this is the last time we'll be this close to each other until next year in terms of this trine. And so this begins the separation of Uranus and Pluto, because Uranus is going to move back into Taurus for a while. Then it's going to come back to this degree again, and it will have another trine to Pluto. So as you can see, we are repeating and moving forward with a bunch of new energy that we're really trying to incorporate, because it's new energy, it's quick energy, it's happening with other people involved here, with all these oppositions happening. You're looking for the perfect partner or someone to work with. So a lot of stuff's happening. A lot of it this week has to do with the moon's movements. Again, the moon is our collective feeling, so we're all going to be feeling this at the same time. So then on the 29th at 1:45 a.m., the Sagittarius moon will be squaring Saturn in Pisces, who just recently went in there this past week. So what does this even mean for us? And then the Capricorn Moon will be arriving at 5:54 a.m. at 4 degrees. And it's going to have a quarter square to Neptune at this time. Because again, Neptune is in Aries. So Capricorn and Aries have a little bit of a square relationship. There's a lot of energy that needs to go somewhere, right? And so with Neptune involved, again, we're going to be seeing if we're being delusional, we're lying to ourselves, what's going on. And then on the 30th, Capricorn Moon trines Venus in Virgo at 13 degrees and 46 minutes at 8:30 a.m. And the Capricorn Moon is going to square Mercury in Libra. And again, miscommunication. And then on the 1st, the moon is going to oppose Jupiter at 1:40 a.m. and it's going to be at 22 degrees and 26 minutes. So the Capricorn moon is moving around quite a lot. And so the Capricorn moon makes us feel uneasy here with all of its little, with all of its movements. We're going to feel very uncomfortable. And then the moon on October 1st, which is Wednesday, I believe, is going to enter Aquarius at 3:51 a.m. in the morning, and it's going to conjunct Pluto at 1 degrees and 24 minutes. Now the moon, again, is part of the air trine like it was when it was in Libra. It's now part of the air trine and trining. So we're going to be pretty detached in terms of we'll be thinking about other things, not so much our emotions in that way. We're going to be more thinking about what is it that we need in life to move ahead in Aquarius, because Aquarius is going to rule this new era for about the beginning of this era for about 18 years. It's going to usher in the new era. And then the moon in Aquarius will be semi-squaring the true node in Pisces at 18 degrees. And the Aquarius moon at 6 degrees and 47 minutes will be squaring Mars in Scorpio at 4:28 a.m. And again, the moon just met up with Pluto and now is going to square Mars. And then Libra Sun is going to trine the Aquarius Moon at 9 degrees and 38 minutes at 9:41 a.m. So on the 2nd, we have a little bit of squares and trines. So the trines are easy energy with the sun and the moon here. So that's going to be very pleasant. But the moon, again, with Mars squaring, our emotions are going to feel blocked, and we may need to release our emotions somehow. So that might be a good time to exercise, because again, Aquarius is an air sign and rules over people and groups. A good time to do something with a group maybe on the 2nd. Then on the 3rd, Aquarius moon semi-sextiles the true node in Pisces at 18 degrees and 13 minutes at 1:17 a.m. So Aquarius moon is just really moving around, has a lot of things happening, because again, it is part of the grand air trine. So every time something comes into any of these signs, again, Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini, and Mars in Libra. Any of these things occurring, they're going to be meeting up and having these meetings with the air signs. It's going to be really a lot of information. A lot of the way we communicate with each other is going to be up for review. Are we communicating? Are we lying? Are we fooling ourselves? Are we lying to ourselves even? So this is really a big theme of this week, is not to be delusional. With Saturn going back to Pisces, it's helping us not to be so delusional. And then Neptune at that 0 degrees of Aries is also a leader of how we're feeling. And again, Neptune's ruling over Saturn, because Neptune rules over Pisces and Saturn's in Pisces. So Neptune's ruling over Saturn and softening his edges or her edges a little bit. And hopefully that helps deflect war, because Mars is in that square to Pluto. It's very explosive time, and the sun's going to be moving into Scorpio in a month. And so there's a lot of explosive energy going on, and I'm sure you guys can feel it. I know I can. Also, the Libra sun will be trining the Aquarius moon at 9 degrees and 38 minutes at 9:41 a.m. Then on the 3rd, the Aquarius moon was semi-sextile the true node in Pisces at 18 degrees and 13 minutes around 1:17 a.m. in the morning. And then the moon will enter Pisces at 10:07 p.m. So again, there's not a ton of things going on this week, and that's next Friday. And so basically everything that's occurring has to do with our personal planets moving around. And of course, the fastest personal planet is the moon. So the moon is going to be making all these aspects that are quite volatile, because it's in the fall and winter season signs. Started out with Scorpio, then went Sagittarius at the beginning of this week. Beginning tomorrow, it's going to go into Sagittarius, and that's going to bring us optimism. And then it's going to meet up with all these other planets and all these other things, and so our emotions are really going to be on a roller coaster ride this week, and it's going to be accelerated time, because everything's moving quite quickly, and that 3-eye atlas object that's flying through our galaxy is getting closer and closer to Mars, and I think it's going to meet up with Mars earlier than we thought, which was going to be October 20th. I think that NASA has come out and said it's going to meet up with Mars a lot quicker, and the timeline's quickening. We are heading into the fall season, and we are in the fall season, and Libra opens that up. And with Libra season here, Venus rules over Libra, and Venus right now is in Virgo, and Virgo again is where the 2 new moons were this past season of Virgo, right? Starting August 23rd to September 22nd, 23rd. So those are very big days that have occurred. And what's happening is that with Mars squaring Pluto yesterday on Wednesday the 24th, we are now in an accelerated time, because Mars is quick and moves quickly, and Mars is getting ready to go towards Pluto and end up with Pluto pretty soon in Aquarius. Not soon, but within a month or two. And so with this closing square, according to Molly McCord, Mars is closing its square to Aquarius. And if you think back to last year when they had their opposition and their opening square, if you can remember what was going on in November, a little bit in January, and I believe in April. If you can remember anything that was going on back then, you should know that Mars is the one that motivates you, that you have action. Passion comes from Mars. And Pluto here is going to really help Aquarius to step up their game, whatever it is that they're trying to do. And Aquarius, again, is the higher octave of Mercury ruled by Uranus. And Uranus is in Gemini. So Uranus is very comfortable in Gemini, the sign of the twins, about communication and all these things. And Uranus rules communication. So here with Pluto and Uranus having a meeting, a long distance meeting, they're traveling together with Neptune. And so if you can use your energy to release things that no longer serve you, you will feel lighter and happier. If you can let yourself be happy, take care of yourself, then you can take care of others. If you can do that, you should be able to get through this time period a little bit easier than you might not if you are hanging on to things that you should let go of, you know. And what am I letting go of? I'm letting go of not having a pet. I went and got a pet last week. It's been 10 years since our last dog, who was a rescue dog, and we named her Goldie Hawn because she was that beautiful color coat that was like golden in the sun. And we adopted her when she was 2, and then she passed away at 22 next to our pond in our old yard. And then it's been 10 years. We moved around quite a bit, and we didn't think we should get a dog yet. So once we got a new home that we actually will be here for a while, we got a dog. So that's what I'm releasing, is not having a pet around. Because I grew up with a pet. I've had dogs since I can remember. In Thailand, I had a dog named Alexander. My mom had her own dog. And then in America, I had a dog named Blackie. It looks a lot like my dog now. That was before they called him Doodles, though. And so that's what I'm releasing. I'm releasing needing to do something, getting myself in trouble, whereas with a dog, I have something to be thinking about all day. And I think that's just how some of us are in terms of how we live our lives, is we want to take care of people, and a dog is really a great thing for that, especially if you're having children. Basically, my youngest is 15 now, so it's good for me to release my, my need to know everything he's doing, because he has to grow up and learn his own thing. So here he is. Say hey. Hey. He was just down there biting my cord, so that's what we're working on, right? We got to release biting everything that we see. So thank you for being here this week. It's a little bit short because there's not too many things going on that you don't already know or feel, because the moon is going to be moving around and you'll be feeling the moon. So really, my advice this week is that remain calm, do those deep breaths, so keep doing that and it will help you. Meditate, take time alone. I've been outside a lot walking with Redford here, barefoot in my yard, and it's really helped me to feel a little more grounded and not so spacey, what's going to happen. And the new moon and the eclipse really takes a lot of energy out of you. New moons takes energy out of you. And so really rest, and don't feel guilty about resting and taking your time, and really enjoy yourself, because things are going to get much more volatile as the seasons continue here. And again, I'm praying for the people in Asia who are dealing with the typhoon that is like a Category 5 hurricane. There's millions of people involved here in Asia. So I really pray for you, and I hope you're doing okay. And again, the water, the typhoon, it's again Mars moving back into Scorpio's home sign by the water. And Pluto, Mars squaring Pluto, I think that had something to do with it. And also, my other thing that I think has to do with it that no one's really kind of talking about is that the earthquakes that occurred over in Russia, I think really shifted things in the floor bed of the ocean over there, the Pacific Ocean. And it could be like basically a mini tsunami that everyone was expecting after the earthquakes. But we don't really know how deep the ocean is in certain parts. And so it might have taken a little bit of time for it to make its way over to the typhoon area. And then we have 2 hurricanes, almost 3 hurricanes building up in the Atlantic now, coming off the coast of Africa. One's going to be over the Bahamas. One went over Bermuda, and another one's coming in. So it looks like one of the hurricanes might fly by North Carolina again and Georgia, that whole area. So I pray for all you guys. Get ready. I know it's not easy if you're still trying to rehab, because a lot of people in Florida are still trying to rehab after last year's storms. So I pray for you. Again, take this week easy. I know I had an explosive day when Mars was squaring Pluto. Even though I knew it was happening, I still was just like, for about an hour. So, and if you're super sensitive like me with your moon in a water sign, or you're a water sign rising, if your sun, moon, rising is a water sign at any degrees of 0 to 2 and 28 to 30, so you can see it goes 28, 29, 30, 1, 2. So it's 5 degrees there that are quite volatile, and I happen to be born at those last degrees and the beginning degrees of Libra as my rising sign. So again, the message of Virgo's new moon will be with us for the rest of this time period until we have 2 new moons somewhere else in another sign. And Virgo's message is the South Node's message, which is release being nitpicky, release being self-critical of yourself, release the negativity that can happen from too much stress. Lean into the healthy part of Virgo where you take care of your gut health. I have lemon water every day with some turmeric, some ginger, and some cinnamon. And I started that during COVID and I haven't stopped. And some days I do miss I ran out of lemons and get one the next day. And I can feel it in my energy, my gut health. I'll start getting bloated. Especially as you get older, menopause, bloating is a huge problem. So there's a lot of ways to mitigate a lot of these symptoms. So we can talk about that another time. So thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate you. And go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. I'd really appreciate that. And I will be back next week. And I hope that you take it easy this week and find time for yourself to recuperate from all this stress in the world that's happening. It's nonstop. And I'm glad Jimmy Kimball's come back online. And if you didn't understand Endgame last week when I named it, my podcast last week, the Endgame is really what's going on right now in terms of the dictatorship that's occurring in all 3 branches of the government in the USA. Has been likened to what happened to the Philippines. And I've seen many movies and seen the people that made these movies about Philippines. They come to Sundance. They share their documentaries with us. And if you don't know, go ahead and check out what happened in the Philippines with Duarte's. I think that was his name. And now he's in jail. So he had a terrorizing run of the Philippines for, I'd say, 10 years, maybe more. So we don't want a repeat of that in America, and we really should live and learn that we are living in the time of AI, and many people are already using AI every day to write, to make videos, whatever it is. I don't use AI for anything. I I have used AI. I used AI to make my profile story for the YouTube page. I wrote what I wrote, then they changed it to that. And I thought, well, that's a nicer version. But I did write it originally. I didn't say, hey, write a thing for me, and then it wrote it for me. So AI is going to start taking over. There's a lot of cooling centers being built. And so we are beginning to give away our unique abilities as human beings to have feelings and emote to each other by using AI. And if you remember, Hollywood was on strike about AI for a while, and that was a preemptive signal to everyone else. You may lose your job too if you don't ban AI from your company. And so now AI and everything to do with the internet and computers is getting kind of unregulated. It is unregulated because no one understands it. And the people that do understand it are the ones that are running it amok, selling it to other countries for war strategies and controlling drones. So if we can't learn to love ourselves, then the powers that be will get rid of you and you won't have a job, and then you'll starve, and then that's the end game. So the end game is here. And if you have watched Marvels, you should watch Marvels and see what occurs during the end game. And I personally value human life, so I hope that we all can get together still and bring some decency back into the world. Stop blaming everyone for what happened when you don't even know what happened. Why did the escalator stop? Who murdered Charlie Kirk? A Republican. Just like the one who tried to assassinate Trump was a Republican kid. They're both kids. So the youth are the ones that are suffering the most. And the adults are responsible for that. So I sure hope the adults start acting like adults instead of blaming and pointing fingers. You did it. You took my cookie. You did it. You took my cookie. I want my cookie back. If you don't get my cookie back, I'm going to put you in jail. So this is what's happening right now. We're all being very childish people. So I really hope you guys take it easy and remain calm. Okay? Thank you again for being here. I know I'm rambling. Can't help it. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you. And I'll be back next week. Bye. Oh, happy October. We're heading into October. Woo-hoo-hoo.